What's up everyone, it's Duncan from overlandjournals.com and welcome to my 13-part series on overlanding for beginners. Before we start, I want to share this with you. Whenever my wife and I we travel, wherever we travel, we like to get a painting from local painters, and thought I'll show you this one. Those of you from Australia will relate to this. This is a painting of Alice Springs. Get it? Alice Springs. There you are. And this is painted by Howard William Steer, and part of the proceeds from the sale of this painting goes to the Royal Flying Doctor. So it's a pretty good cause. At the same time, it's a nice quirky painting that we picked up during one of our trips that we did recently. So this whole series was prompted by a friend, in fact a few friends, but one in particular, who's looking to get into overlanding and getting that overlanding lifestyle. So I thought, why not do a whole series and share my experiences and knowledge from over the years with the rest of the wider community, so that everybody else benefits. I started overlanding over 20 years ago back in Africa where I grew up, and it was that yearning to get out and see the great outdoors and sense of adventure. We had no idea what we were doing. It was myself and a friend. We were a bunch of naive fools, you could say. All we wanted to do was get out there, and we knew we needed a 4x4 to get out there. So we didn't have much money. We had a very short shoestring budget. So we bought ourselves a second-hand Series 2 Land Rover. In fact, it had seen better days when we got it. That's all we could afford. So we bought a Series 2 Land Rover. We had no idea about vehicles. We had no idea about mechanics. We had no idea what to take when we went outdoor, into the remote parts of the country and what to expect. All we did was we just traveled. And we had more mechanical breakdowns, we had more boggings than we would care to remember. But it's those experiences that got me to fall in love with this lifestyle. Seeing the countryside, seeing remote places, meeting locals. The humility of the locals towards travelers was just amazing. And amazing landscapes, the geological history, the human history, the stories behind the locals in the various parts I traveled through, that got me fall in love with overlanding. And ever since then, I've been doing overlanding. I still do, and I'll continue to do it until I possibly cannot. But it's a wonderful lifestyle, and if you are looking to getting into overlanding, then this series will hopefully help you with various information that you'd find useful. This lifestyle, some call it overlanding, some call it off-roading, some call it off-road touring. To me, it's getting to places where your regular tarred roads won't get you to, and also where your regular vehicles won't get you to either. So it's a sense of adventure, going to distant locations, but it's that sense of being one with the great outdoors. And wherever in the world you may live, whether it's Australia or anywhere else, there's always such places you can find. Now, I live in Australia, and we have an abundant supply of amazing landscapes in desert country, in tropical country, as well as mountainous regions. So it's just a matter of getting out there and discovering these beautiful places. So in addition to the landscapes, there's a whole lot of other things you can experience. It's truly more about the journey than the destination. There could be small settlements, there could be small towns, maybe towns that turn into ghost towns at this point in time. But so much to experience, with a lot of historical values placed to every location. Now, this brings to mind my recent trip down the Udawatta track here in the South Australian outback. Once upon a time, there used to be a thriving railway line that existed, started back in the 1800s. And along the way, during its heydays, there were so many towns that popped up, and sidings, railway stations, doesn't exist anymore. A lot of these places have now turned into ghost towns or ghost places, if you want to call it that. But then there is also settlements where the people refuse to leave even after the railway line ceased to exist, and these communities still exist. One place that comes to mind is William Creek, William Creek's history goes back to the late 1800s, and despite the railway line not existing anymore, the place still survives. Official population as per government statistics, 5 humans, 1 dog. They live off tourism income or overlanders tourism income right now, but there's a lot of history there. So you walk into the William Creek pub, and the history speaks to you as you walk in. The pub itself goes back to the late 1800s. So there's so much to experience as you travel, as you go overlanding, and the entire experience is something you will cherish for a long, long time. I certainly do. So in this 13-part series, I'll talk on vehicles, modifications that you may need for your vehicle, camping gear that you should start out with. Should you travel alone or should you travel in a convoy? Communications and safety. What should you do in an emergency? And most importantly, things like caring for the environment, and also importantly, interacting with the locals, trip planning, budgeting and costing. And then at the very end, I'll have a Q&A session where I'll answer questions that you may have for me throughout the whole series. And this video being the introductory video to the whole series. So while I share my experiences with those looking to get into this lifestyle, anybody else who's already into life overlanding and who's got any form of experience, please feel free to share your comments and your thoughts. The more interactive we keep, the more information we throw out there, the better it is for the wider community, especially those who are looking to get into it. At the end of each video, whatever questions you may have, please post them in the comments below. And then what I will do is, for the benefit of the wider viewing audience, I will answer those questions at the start of the next video. So from next Thursday onwards, the videos will be a bit longer. I don't want to keep it too long and bore you, but at the same time, what I want to try and do is get as much value information across to you within a reasonable time. And I'll get into the specific topics, with next Thursday being vehicles. Should you buy a 4x4, or can you get away with something else? You may be considering brand new, others may be considering pre-owned, and the things I feel you should consider or look at when you're considering a vehicle to go overlanding. What kind of modifications? You don't have to mortgage the house to get modifications to your vehicle. I'll also share with you my thought processes I went through when I bought my 4x4s, more particularly the 80 series that I have currently. Some of you may know that I have a petrol 80 series. That's against the advice of many people, because I was told, or the more popular choice is diesel for its economy and torque. And at the same time, some would prefer to go for a much newer vehicle than what I have. I have a 1997 model. But there was a thought process behind my ultimate decision, and I'm happy with the decision I made. So I'll share those thought processes. You don't necessarily have to buy an 80 series, but it's the thought process that will be valuable. So look out for next Thursday when I'll talk vehicles in further detail. And I hope you find this series educational. So please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. It's going to be a wonderful series and very useful, I feel. And I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for watching.